always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to more snowflakes in August. Or are they red herrings? And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. Arthur C. Clarke, in a speech, was quoted as saying, "The television programs broadcast from planet Earth now occupy a volume of space more than 100 light years in diameter. I think this proves there can't be any advanced civilizations in the local neighborhood. Otherwise, the cops would already be on the way, sirens screaming across the electromagnetic spectrum." Unquote. There still may be a few lingering shooting stars late tonight. We're still looking skyward. With Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Sarah McLachlan with A World on Fire and Savage Garden, Truly, Madly, Deeply. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This is an excerpt from the Time Life collection The Enchanted World, The Book of Beginnings, published in 1986. And I quote, "In New Guinea, legend tells us of a time when the stars lived on Earth. They were shy creatures and kept themselves well hidden from the eyes of men. In the deepest jungles, far from human habitation, they canoed along rivers overhung by creepers and branches. They wore glistening decorations of curving white boar's teeth and gleaming shells, and the glow given off by these ornaments wavered rhythmically in unison with the haunting song the stars sang as they paddled. One night, a traveler lost in the forest saw the shimmering light and heard the mysterious music. Fired with curiosity, he approached the source of these marvels and peered from behind a curtain of vines. He was nearly blinded by the magnificence he saw before him on the waters of a river. Perhaps he was greedy. Perhaps he merely longed to hold such beauty in his hands. But on an impulse, he reached out from his hiding place and touched one of the canoes. Frightened, the stars escaped, took refuge in the skies, and never returned. Their glorious brilliance was still visible from Earth every night, but their songs never again charmed human ears." Unquote. In yesterday's program, I said that a shooting star is silent as it crosses the heavens. Maybe we now know the reason why. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Hayley Sales with What You Want, and Dan Fogelberg and Longer. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Carl Sagan and Anne Druyan in their book Comet, published in 1985 by Random House, wrote, and I quote, "The shoals of meteors in a cometary orbit are entirely invisible to astronomers on Earth. But occasionally, by chance, the orbit of the comet intersects the orbit of the Earth. Since the Earth is in a specific segment of its orbit on every day of the calendar, the resulting meteor shower must occur on a specific day of the annual calendar. Every comet, as it dies, litters its orbit with debris. Some orbits cross the Earth's. Meteor showers are the ghosts of comets past and passing. Unquote. Like snowflakes on a hot August night. For lovers and other strangers. From iTunes and CHFI.com. Daughtry, and What About Now? Lights to Drive My Soul, and Glenn Frey with The One You Love. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. In the past, some people reported seeing 10 or more shooting stars per hour and fireballs in the pre-dawn sky. About a year or so ago, Dennis Mamana in the San Diego Union Tribune wrote, and I quote, "Astronomy is one of the few hobbies through which on any clear night an amateur with very little equipment can make a major discovery. Just ask Australian Terry Lovejoy." Lovejoy aimed his off-the-shelf digital camera toward the southern hemisphere constellation of Indus in his ongoing search for new comets. For 2 years, his images had turned up nothing, but on this night, a tiny blue-green spot appeared near the edge of 16 frames. Finally, Lovejoy had discovered a comet. Just how bright it will be, however, is anyone's guess. Comets are notoriously fickle. They can flare up at any time, or they can fizzle and go totally unnoticed by the average stargazer. As noted comet hunter David Levy likes to say, comets are like cats. They both have tails, and they both do what they want. Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Colin James, Into the Mystic, and Paul McCartney with A Little Luck. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. In January of last year, 2008, a meteor came crashing to Earth. Carlton Pryor, a professor of astronomy at Rutgers University, said that about 50 enter the atmosphere of Earth every single day. Occasionally, one of them hits somebody's house. It's very rare, but like the lottery, occasionally the numbers line up. It happened early in January of last year, and some that were like very large hail fell in Iowa on a house and damaged some trees. They're called cryometeors. It's been estimated that about one rock from Mars makes it to Earth every month. We're being bombarded all the time, but the surface of our planet is so large that for the most part they'll either fall in the ocean or in some uninhabited area. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We shouldn't be too worried, though, about looking up at the tears of St. Lawrence. And here's something else to consider. The late British astronomer Robert Ball, quoted in the Carl Sagan book Comet, said, "The meteors cannot choose their own track, like the shoal of herrings, for they are compelled to follow the route which is prescribed to them by the sun. We never see them till the Earth catches them. The Earth makes a haul of these meteors just as successfully as the fisherman among the herrings, and in much the same way. For while the fisherman spreads his net in which the fishes meet their doom, so the Earth has an atmosphere wherein the meteors perish." We are told that there is no fear of the supply of herrings becoming exhausted, for those the fishermen catch are as nothing compared to the profusion in which they abound in the ocean. We may say the same with regard to the meteors. Unquote. What did I say about snowflakes in August? Maybe I should title the hour A Red Herring. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Celine Dion with The Color of My Love, and Jann Arden with Jackson Browne, Unloved. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Since we've been talking of the very small this hour, one final thought. Alan Dressler, astronomer, quoted by Greg Easterbrook in Beside Still Waters, Searching for Meaning in an Age of Doubt, published by William Morrow, wrote, "When I talk to audiences about the size and age of the cosmos, people often say it makes me feel so insignificant. I answer, the bigger and more impersonal the universe is, the more meaningful you are. Because this vast, impersonal place needs something significant to fill it up. We've abandoned the old belief that humanity is at the physical center of the universe, but must come back to believing we are at the center of meaning." Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.